Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 950, October 24th, 2022. I lost my sheet with the records, but I remember the record high was in 1989, and it was 80-something. and then another year was colder than that.
Oh, okay.
So those are your records for today.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Boy, this canning apricot thing is really being used,
I'll say,
by GLers. Bert writes, I decided to take a cue from the fellow GL or emailer who is now using canning apricots as a response to the ubiquitous, ever-maddening question, any big plans from the weekend? On Saturday, I got a chance. It went like this. Clerk, that everything? You have any plans for the weekend? Me, yep, gonna can some apricots. Exit the BR, shaking her head for some reason, meaning his wife. Clerk, oh, that's specific. Where do you get the apricots? To myself, I'm thinking, good, a straight man. Me, well, the wife supplies the apricots. I just do the canning.
oh my God.
Clerk, huh, what do you use them for? Me, topping.
Wow.
I don't know if you find this as amusing as I did, but what I would like to do is thank you and all GLers for providing the raw material for concocting life's little joys such as this. Bird. Yep.
I'm trying to find your records, by the way.
I don't need them. It was in 1989 on this day. It was in the 80s. And some other year it was colder than that.
Okay. It's good to know.
Well, I thought we were fact-based. Well,
Only,
I guess that sort of is fact. I don't know.
Only 52 people shot in Chicago over the weekend.
That's it?
Yeah. 3 fatally.
Wow. They got a real problem on their hands there in Chicago, don't they, Joe?
The October snowfall that none of us could claim to remember. The 8 inches of snow last week.
Yep.
And none of us claim to remember it. Timothy writes, how did they go, you guys? You guys were talking about the 8-inch snowfall that happened 2 years ago. I remember it well. One, I was out of work because they found colon cancer in me.
Oh.
The other reason I remember is the weatherman said it wouldn't even be an inch, and we got 8 inches.
Yeah.
That reminded me of the Halloween snowstorm because they said the same thing that day, and we ended up with 20 inches. I love the show. I'm out of work again because of health, but the show helps me through every day. Thank you. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much for the joy you bring to my life. That was kind of a downer. I hope Tim's all right. I hope he's okay. Now we're going to do some intramural work here.
And I got to get him.
Oh, this will be fun. This will be
I got
fun.
to get him a mouse.
Jim is here to
You got the nice screensaver, an Austin Healy
set up,
3000.
Joe's getting a
Switches.
brand new computer,
Or
so
is that a
everyone,
100M?
everyone gets to look at Technology Corner
Sure.
live on the air.
just said that, but you
Yeah,
know.
I can't do this part.
Yeah, I'll
You know,
go get you a
that's,
mouse.
yeah.
Is this thing on? Hello?
I'm
Yes.
getting a computer for in here in case town council members want to email us live.
Interaction. That's the benefit
That's a good idea.
of being part of the Garage Logic Town Council, and for just $10 a month or for $100 a year,
You know what $10 a month is?
nothing.
Cheap entertainment.
That's right.
You get us caught in our off moments.
And I was interacting with a future town council member, Kelly, in which they asked, so what time do you guys normally go live? And I said, well, typically it's about 10 to noon with the show starting at noon every day. However, if you aren't able to interact in real time, you will still have access to everything outside of the actual podcast once it's posted after the show. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a neat feature. I like it.
I think maybe before we get into the destruction of the world, It would be good to have a ray of hope.
Okay.
All right?
This is a milestone show, right?
9:50. What was your sorry excuse this time?
I jumped into the Honda, put the key in the ignition, and it won't turn. I tried both sets of keys.
How many miles on the car?
Oh, you
253.
dummy.
You're
That's because you got to
wearing
turn the
out.
wheel.
you
Crank
gotta
the wheel.
Crank the wheel a little bit.
So it locks. The wheel isn't locked. Jesus, how old are you?
53.
Seriously.
2 months before my birthday.
Are you kidding me, Matthew?
Yeah, I both of the
Such, you take off your
keys.
headphones right now, go over
slap
there
'em.
and give them the double eye poke.
It can't be as simple as it can't be as
Your,
simple as that.
your
Yes, it
steering
can.
wheel isn't locked. That's the only thing that stops the key from turning. Oh, I'm
It
so
can't be that
embarrassed
simple.
for
Well,
you.
if that's the case, then you're going to save me. What would it have cost to have a key guy?
I wouldn't put any more money in that thing.
And if you can't get it to
253.
lock, do this back and forth in the seat. Rock the car.
Just kind of rock it and just see if you can.
And then you'll be able to lock the steering wheel. I can't believe. How old did you say you are? I am so
53.
outraged.
Good morning, Joe. I hope this email finds you and the other boneheads doing well, especially after the podcast on Friday. What was the problem with Friday?
That was a good podcast.
Yeah.
We went out with a bang.
I would like to share a ray of hope. I am a professor at Dakota County Technical College, and I do not mind if you use my name. One class I teach is energy distribution, where we explore the pros and cons of renewable and conventional energy production. For example, with solar panels, we talk about the positives, but there is also a life expectancy between 12 and 15 years and need to be replaced. Many states do not allow panels to be thrown away but need to be recycled where they are taken apart. This process usually costs around the same cost as the installation in the first place. We also talk about how rechargeable batteries are made and where the materials come from. So this is just a lead up to my story. This story was relayed by some students. During another class, the professor was boasting that he just installed a new solar system on his house and bought a new electric car. Students told me that he was completely boasting and was trying to show off how much of a Mysterian he was, which I am sure he is. One of my students asked what he is going to do in 15 years when the panels do not work anymore. He said, "What are you talking about?" My students explained it and took the opening to share where the materials for his earth-saving vehicle come from. The professor stopped class right then and started doing some research on his computer right in front of the class. A few minutes later, he stopped, looked up, and all he said was, but without that Mysterian smile that I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. Just a simple story I wanted to share and to show that there are plenty of the younger generation who did not drink the Kool-Aid and are willing to push back against a world full of bad governance. Signed, Joe. Thank you. That was great of the kids to point that out to the moron. Hey, pal, it's going to cost you whatever you paid for that. It's going to cost you to have that removed in 15 years. And finally, the Samer theory. The Samer theory is named for a guy named Samer, who back in the 70s was in military electronics.
That's what it was.
And he told his buddies,
Buck was the caller.
Buck called us and told us this story. Samer told his buddies that the frequency with which we're inundated with what? Radio waves?
Microwaves,
Radio waves. People will start to go nuts. And I think we've seen it.
We're basically, he said, we're slow cooking our brain.
Yeah, the brains are slowly boiling from all of this.
like a crock pot.
Right.
There it is.
On
So,
warm.
so Jeffrey writes about, Joe, I used to take the Samer theory with a grain of salt. I found it to be mildly amusing. But seriously, something is going on, and the Samer theory is as good an explanation as any. Just heard on the news that there were 2 separate samurai sword attacks, one on each coast. What's with that? And take road rage. Where did that come from? Is that not a form of madness? To wit, road rage makes no sense, serves no purpose, accomplishes nothing, and is actually counterproductive. I remember being taught to be a courteous driver. Is there such a thing anymore? It was logic that drew me to conservatism at an early age. Just try to argue with the likes of a Thomas Sowell or a Milton Friedman. But why is such logic lost on liberals? Could it be the Samer theory? Is the Samer theory capricious, selecting victims at random? Does it destroy the linkability capability of liberals? If so, does it create liberals randomly, or is there a genetic predisposition in liberals that make them more susceptible? Whatever the case, I am now allowing is how the Samer theory could well be the culprit. It's as good a theory as any. Good luck, Jeff, he's the big sign guy up in Pequot Lake.
Gotcha.
You need a sign?
I can get you a sign, so can this guy. The Samer theory is as good an explanation as any. People are going crazy.
When I first heard about that, I poo-pooed it, but it's more evident every day.
People are nuts.
People are losing it.
Well, why aren't we?
I don't know.
We're even more susceptible,
Right.
given that we're surrounded by these satellite dishes and towers.
Transmitters.
And
That was my next question. Is there any way to find out the hot spots?
that's a good question.
And are the rates of insanity higher in those areas? How would you measure that, though?
Wouldn't this be a hot spot?
Yeah, that's ground zero for stupid right there where you're sitting.
Yeah. Look at this, man. I got a new computer in here. I got a mouse.
You're sitting pretty.
That's fantastic.
You're living
setting
high
up
on the
your
hog.
There's your
Password.
How's it
promo.
go?
There's your promo right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's
You
fantastic.
got all that?
No, this is
How
ground
do I
zero
know
for
if
stupid.
I got an email? Oh, you just click on the email thing. I'll go right to the email. Look at that. Do I want choose an email provider? Which one do I want?
How about you let me handle that when we're not
Are
recording?
we going to really
Yeah.
do this?
Arizona officials deeply concerned about voter intimidation at ballot boxes. I caught this morning and I was angry.
Okay.
Where are the people to say bleep you?
Yeah.
Maricopa County officials expressed that they are concerned over increased reports of voter intimidation at ballot boxes after two armed vigilantes were found outside a ballot box on Friday. Photos and videos from Friday obtained by ABC News showed two men dressed in tactical gear and armed with magazines stationed outside a ballot box.
What?
The pair left before authorities arrived.
What was their intent?
Well, that's a good question. Police began to measure the distance between where the men were standing and the ballot box to make sure they weren't too close. Arizona law prohibits people from entering the 75-foot limit of a voting location with a weapon, which is considered to be an unlawful act of voter intimidation. I've been preaching for years and years and years. We have really ruined what was once the charming civic exercise of voting.
Simple. You forgot simple. It
Simple.
wasn't. It
We
was
just-
not broken.
It's just ruined. It's just been ruined.
And now you've got, once again, you have someone on the ballot that is deceased and may already have votes.
Early voting began in Arizona on October 12. Since then, there have been at least intimidations. In October 20, a voter filed a complaint with the Arizona Secretary of State after a group of people was harassing and taking photographs of a voter. You know, what is their point? Who are we supposed to vote for? Who these idiots want us to vote for?
Right, exactly.
We are deeply concerned about the safety of individuals who are exercising their constitutional right to vote and who are lawfully taking their early ballots to a drop box, Maricopa County Board of Supervisors Chairman Bill Gates said, and recorders. So people are going early to put their votes in the ballot box.
Yep.
And you've got you got these two rubes standing there in pretend army suits
Yep.
with their rifles. Somebody knock them out. Take them out.
All right.
Of course, you would have to get past their weapons.
True.
Yeah, maybe
Tall task.
But
Yeah, maybe.
What are they suggesting? What are they? Do they want you to vote conservative or do they want you to vote liberal?
I guess you'd have to ask them.
Well,
Why are you here?
the guess would be conservative. The guess would be that they're sociopathic Trump followers, and they're dressed up in their camouflage and their guns. Go bleep yourself.
I wouldn't assume that. I would assume they're just there to intimidate people.
For what purpose.
But how could they possibly, the way you describe them, be a threat to you on which way you vote? Nobody knows which way you vote. You could tell them you're voting for their candidate and vote for somebody else.
Well, and
Then it's-
presumably you're bringing to the ballot box a ballot you've completed at home.
I think there's a whole different, something else is going on
Well,
here.
what is it?
Well, I don't know, Joe. You brought it up. What's your theory?
I'm bringing it up because I think it's pathetic.
I don't think it's Trumpers.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I do.
No, you know what I think it might be? There's been several candidates, both locally and nationally, talking about this very thing. I'm here to protect your rights. Is this grandstanding? Is this whoever that elected person in that given state, what would that be, the Secretary of State, saying, see, the voters need protection?
This is more psyops from somebody. Everything is psyops these days.
What is psyops?
Psychological warfare is mastered by the CIA and KGB and all the other.
I guess I brought it up because I have a decision to make.
Yeah, you do.
When I go to vote, and if I encounter such a thing, what am I going to do?
You're going to ask questions.
Well,
I'm
being a
going to-
reporter,
You're going to
yeah.
you're going to be a civil. You're going to be.
No,
I
I don't think I will. I don't think I will be. No, I
don't.
don't think I will be civil.
Really?
No.
I thought you'd inquire and say what, because the newsman, and you would say, "What are you guys doing here? What
Yeah,
purpose
but I
do you
think
serve?"
I'd be more. I think I would be prone to profanity and anger.
Maybe
Why-
after your
why-
first sentence, yeah. But
'Cause I'm old enough to remember voting was pleasant. If I encounter these morons standing there in their pretend military suits, I don't think I can handle that calmly. What would you do?
I would ask them and say, "Why are you? Are you military? Why are you here?" Civilly, I would not be confrontational. I would have a natural curiosity as to why are you here. We're protecting your vote. My vote doesn't need protecting.
Yeah.
I can go in there and fill out the ballot. I don't. Why? Who are you protecting?
Reavers, what would you do?
I'd go vote and ignore it.
Yeah, I'd drop my ballot off and walk away.
See you later.
Don't you live in the city? Don't you know how to ignore things?
No, but doesn't this require pushback?
You give them a little side eye as you
Right.
stroll by.
But, Joe, I'm a big risk and reward guy. Are you?
Yeah, Reavers is right.
I'm a big, okay, what good is this going to do me, and what harm could it potentially do me? No good's going to come of this if I confront some guy with nothing good is going to come of that. It doesn't apply to me. It's not affecting my vote. I'm going to go vote for whoever I want to vote for. None of this is going to affect
That's tantamount to you saying you accept that behavior.
me. What good is going to come of me being argumentative with an armed member of the military?
Well,
in
first
a
of all,
polling
you don't know
place?
if it's military, and second, you have a point. If they're armed, I suppose that changes your dynamic.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I almost said a bad word, but
Yeah.
Sherlock.
right. Exactly.
They want to be confronted. They want to be taken to task. That's why they're there with the. I mean, you could be there in a hooded sweatshirt and still be.
And that's exactly right. What they're looking for is some Leroy. What y'all doing here? And then that becomes a
Okay.
news story.
I don't know if this is fitting, but you guys have walked with me from our booth at the state fair to where we pick up the bus. There's always a trooper standing there, being routinely ignored by thousands and thousands of people. Guys, what do I do when I walk by?
Hey!
I step right up to him and start giving him the business
Kenny.
and talking to him and what's your deal and where do you work and don't you hate working here? And they all say, nah, we love it because we don't have to be out helping the hoople heads.
In fact, I was with Kenny on said walk this last state fair, and the guy looking going, yeah, don't you two have a
Don't
bus
you have
to
a bus to catch? See, but my point is, Joe, thousands of people are walking by. Of course, he's clearly identified, he or she, as a trooper, but I don't know. Maybe I made a point. Maybe I didn't.
I don't think you did. There's
Okay.
nothing
That was a good
remotely
story, though.
analogous about that. God
No,
almighty.
everybody ignores them. Nobody's intimidated by them. Nobody comes up to talk to them. Nobody does what you say to
In
them.
Well,
fact-
let me rephrase it then. Who would these morons hope to intimidate?
Right. That's a good question. What the hell?
Because Reavers is going to go in and vote. Rook's going to go in and vote. I'm going to go in and vote.
And I'm
Who do they
personally.
hope to intimidate?
So you're intimidated by that then?
It's
You're
not that
triggered.
no, I'm angered. I'm angered.
Oh, see, it does nothing for me. It doesn't trigger me. It doesn't intimidate me. It's just, okay, just another weird thing that happens every day.
It's going to be a bleep show on November 8th.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories on the
Holy
internet
man.
right now about this, Joe, but nobody seems to know who they were.
And too many candidates are already insisting they will not accept the outcome if they lose. Well, that ain't the way it works.
Including someone running for Secretary of State in the state.
So would you call these guys vigilantes? Because on the internet, a lot of news outlets are calling them vigilantes.
That's what the story called them. I would call them idiots. I don't understand who they are trying to intimidate. And it just infuriates me that we've gotten to that point. We've really bollocksed up elections.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Secretaries of state used to be unknown entities.
yeah.
Once in a while, they'd stamp somebody's school report card or something. We've just ruined it. We've just ruined it. And it's all been deceitful. It's all been under the guise of we must make it easier, which is kind of a life theme in this country. We have to make everything easier. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You don't have to make it.
If you're fighting a war for the United States and you're overseas, you get an absentee ballot.
Copy.
That's it.
Copy.
That's it.
What if you're a senior citizen and you can't get out?
That's too bad.
No, the disabled
help
part
you.
I buy.
Okay, what did we do 50 years ago if you were a senior citizen and disabled?
You probably got a ride from someone and had assistance from
A
your
family member,
your
a
father.
neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then, isn't that still a good enough way to do it?
Yes, and if you're going to buy the "it takes a village" thing, that's what the village does. You're a family member or friend gets you to the poll. Bingo, bango, bongo.
Is it a bongo?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Bongo could bring it.
Yeah, bombo, bongo,
Mongo.
Mongo,
Mongo.
Mongo. Come on,
You know, October is National Estate Planning Month. I'm not making that
You
up.
don't tell
Speaking
me.
of old senior citizens, they should have their affairs in order.
No, you don't. Don't wait till you're old. Go to Eckberg Lammers right now as a young person and get this done. You want an estate plan. If you don't, the courts take all your stuff, divvy it up how as they see fit. How as they see fit? That
How
isn't
they
even a
see fit.
functional sentence, is it?
No, sound like me.
How as they see fit. to
How's
you.
you do it?
Eckberg Lammers, it's a great resource for GLers, and they are GLers. They're a law firm. They've been creating estate plans and wills for more than 70 years. They'll take care of that touchy property transfer in the family, divorces, whatever you have going. But most principally, you need an estate plan. Because I hate to tell you this, you're going to die. We all are.
Yep.
And if you die without an estate plan, the courts take over. These guys can help you save taxes. They can make sure your stuff gets to who you want it to go to, and probably save you some taxes. But here's the deal. They make the transition from you leaving this vale of tears. Yes, Kenny?
Wait till you're done.
Oh,
Trying
I
to
thought
get
you wanted
Reaver's
to weigh
attention.
In. Oh, I thought you wanted to weigh in on the Eck. Eckberg Lammers will make sure that the transition is this word, smooth.
That's what I like. That's what I like to hear.
Call Eckberg Lammers at 651-439-2878 or visit Eckberg Lammers at eckberglammers, lammers.com/will.
Now,
Go ahead, Ken. What were you going to say?
I know you want to go to the break and maybe let this one go, Joe, but Arizona's received a lot of threats against election workers. Do you suppose they were there solely to intimidate the election workers because of perceived, I don't know, malfeasance?
Or, well, your question would make more sense if they were there to protect election workers.
Right, right. And that's what I was thinking as I was looking for this, but I keep seeing these stories that have the generic headline, FBI identifies Arizona as one of the top states for threats against election workers. So do you suppose they were there just to intimidate the election workers? Then maybe your theory about them being Trumpers would hold true. But I don't see any reason why you would accuse them of being Trump supporters if they're there to intimidate the voters. That doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, well, I can clarify it. The extremists on the right are as wacky as the extremists on the left.
Yeah,
so
we
it
all
could be
agree on
either,
that.
It could be
Yeah.
either side. It could be
Yeah.
either side. But I would suggest to you that extremism does come into play if you're going to put on your monkey suit and grab your gun and go stand near the ballot box.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
clear it up.
Voting November 8th.
Sweet. Rookie's here for Spiral Candles.
You know, Joe just basically did my ad for me.
How's that?
About 5 seconds ago. Nothing is happening here. I know he was referring to his computer, but that's also referring to any type of candle that does not burn in a circular motion. That's where spiral light candles come in. And scent-wise, how about cinnamon bark and clove?
I'll take it.
Vanilla and tobacco.
I'll take it.
All right. Well, then you go to spirallightcandles.com, and you can actually build your own box of candles. All sorts of different shapes, different sizes, different schmells. Schmells? You doing a
That's
Volkswagen ad?
Countryside Volkswagen.
That's right. That's where I was confused. Spirallightcandles.com. It's a business that was started in the garage, and these garage logicians really, truly get it. Todd and the whole family do a wonderful job to the point where they have their own cylinder index candle. It burns in a circular motion, and it smells like your garage, your sweet-smelling garage. How do you order them? I don't even have a phone number. I just have your website, spirallightcandles.com. Build your own box. Stop burning boring candles.
Build your own box.
Yeah, you can 3, 6, 12, 24 candles, whatever the case
Oh,
may
I
be.
see. You got
can
'em in a
customize
box,
it.
yeah.
You might be buying in bulk for the crew.
Sure.
For the GL crew, that's what you're going to do. Spirallightcandles.com. Again, stop burning boring candles. Burn beautiful Spiralight candles found at spirallightcandles.com.
Order of affectation.
Yes.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Another week, another big sale. It's the annual Franklinstein sales event at Maple Grove Lock and Safe through November 7th. You heard me. Franklinstein, you'll get monstrous savings
Come on. Please.
on the Franklin 23, the Franklin 40, and the Franklin 50. These are all Liberty saves, of course, meaning made in the USA, transferable lifetime warranties, and I, as I and many others have said, the best darn safe in the whole wide world. Rich, now he's the owner of MGLS. He's got a phone number, 763-494-9075. But check out the website anyway. The address for that, maplegrovelockandsafe.com. The brick and mortar address, 6901 East Fish Lake Road in Maple Grove. The Franklin Safes, 23, 40, 50, they're all on sale through the 7th of November. maplegrovelockandsafe.com.
You know, many GLers are very frustrated with me because I don't adhere to finding any value whatsoever in Trump, and I don't. But I can tell you with all sincerity, I feel the same way about Biden. So I mean, I've said for ages, I'm just politically lonely. I just don't have anyone. And what this latest stunt Biden has pulled,
I don't get this one. At
rocks my socks. Biden says he backs. Now, Reavers, you save your theory because I'm going to ask you about it. We were talking about this off air. Biden says he backs gender-affirming health care and slams Republicans trying to ban sex changes for children. In other words, he thinks Republicans are evil for trying to prevent a child from having a sex change. He did this during a panel discussion that he doesn't think states should have the right to regulate sex changes, surgeries, or treatments.
Okay.
TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney, who was documenting the transition from male to female on that app, was one of 6 progressive panelists to speak with Biden. Not progressive, Mysterian, leftist. The trans influencer asked Biden whether states should be able to limit access to gender-affirming treatments. Biden said, as a moral question and as a legal question, I just think it's wrong. Biden is a moron. Mulvaney has been living as a woman for less than a year.
Okay.
Some feminists accuse her of woman face by play acting parts of womanhood she enjoys while ignoring the misogyny faced by females on a day-to-day basis. So,
Wow.
To me, you just put all these fruitcakes on a boat and just cut it loose. The world is suffering right now in a variety of ways. The United States is suffering in a variety of ways.
Yep.
And Biden has managed to grant an interview with a TikTok star who's been a female or pretending to be one for less than a year. And Biden, the president of the United States, who has the audacity to use the word moral, has deemed it wrong for states to attempt to regulate any health care related to a person transitioning from one sex to the other. Think of what states regulate.
Okay.
And yet you'd find it immoral if the state said a 5-year-old shouldn't be allowed to choose a new gender. That's moral. The president denounced Republican states that have passed laws attempting to ban or limit sex change surgeries and transition treatments like hormone blockers for children who identify as non-binary or transgender. Biden spoke with a panel of 6 Mysterian activists for the Now This News presidential forum on Friday, which aired on Sunday. One of the 6 panelists was TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney, who is documenting the transition from male to trans woman. When asked if red states should have the right to pass laws limiting access to gender-affirming treatments, Biden said, I don't think any state or anybody should have the right to do that. As a moral question and as a legal question, I just think it's wrong, the president said. Doesn't he have an obligation to defend people? Don't you have an obligation as the president of the United States to defend a small child from this intrusive life change that may or may not be called for?
And why the insistence? That's the part that I
The
can't
parents
get over.
are obviously pushing. If it's a young child like that,
I can't
that's
have
a major.
I'll never get an audience with the White House, but this nutcase did. Sometimes they try to block you from being able to access certain medicines, being able to access certain procedures, and so on. He continued,
Sounds like he's making it up as he goes.
referencing Republican-led state bills blocking doctors from performing such treatment, especially when it comes to minors. Wouldn't that be his obligation?
Yep. Priority.
I mean, no state should be able to do that, in my view. So I feel very, very strongly that you should have every single solitary right, including your use of gender identity bathrooms in public. This fellow is.
We're always hung up on bathrooms, aren't we?
Such, I can't help but think, are we being hoodwinked? Are they creating an issue here where there really isn't an issue? I mean, what are the demographics here? How many people seek these changes? Is this really a big issue? How many states have had problems? How many lawsuits? How many lives destroyed? Or are they creating a new abortion issue in order to distract us from
What's
the
really
real
happening?
issues that are really going on in this country and this world? Because as you're talking about this, I'm thinking, who gives a canning apricots? You know what I mean? Because as you have said in the past, the number of people that are doing this are so small. Why are we talking about it? It just seems to me like we're being hoodwinked.
Mr. Reavers?
Kenny, why don't you step on into the old Reavers conspiracy room?
Come on down.
Okay? The old RCR, as I
You
like
got any
to call
coffee?
it.
Give me a cup of
Yeah,
coffee.
it's over there in the corner.
All right.
this video of TikTok star Mulver Delaney, whatever her name is, surfaced last week, and I thought nothing of it. And then it started to gain more attraction and attention as the week progressed.
Is this the one where she's walking across a wooden bridge and saying, "Come follow me"? And she's
Being a girl, and today I'm in nature. Trees, I love them. Water, lakes, I love them. Heels, they're my hiking heels. I love them. Okay, come on. Bridges, love them. Coconut water, love it. Not an ad, just love it. Wind turbine, love it.
What is
Meadows,
this?
love them.
Stop this. It's too
This is
irritating.
making me
TikTok.
insane.
It's a TikTok video.
We're being played. We're being played on a number of levels. I think this is entirely a bit. I think that this is to show just how vulnerable that this state of administration is, and to show how fraudulent this administration is, and to show how weak this administration is.
You know
Think
what?
This is a bit.
I do think
No,
this is
no,
a
wait.
bit.
I think I almost agree with you. I don't think it's a bit, but I think that's exactly what it's proving.
And I think the reason I believe that this is 100% a bit, these videos are done so professionally and to such a degree that this person is not acting alone.
What is their name again?
Dylan Mulvaney.
Dylan. Okay.
Interesting.
Because think of how many years it took for African Americans to get the right to vote, for women to get, and for then all of a sudden this person living as a woman for 6 minutes to get a meeting with the president. Are you freaking kidding me? What are we? What have we become? This, ladies and gentlemen, is a complete bit.
And for what purpose?
Expose. To being exposed. And Kenny's right about the distraction.
Expose what?
Expose how freaking weak we are right now. We are viewed. We are so weak, and Kenny's right about the distraction aspect of this. Midterms are what, 2 weeks from tomorrow?
I desperately want to believe you, but I'd feel a lot more comfortable if this Mulvaney fruitcake would admit this.
See, I think you're biting on a hook here, Such.
Maybe.
Yeah. I really do believe we're being duped because I just don't think the demo is there.
I
don't
want to be told then that. I want to be told I'm being duped.
I think this is a social media issue and not a real life issue.
Then I'd love for Mulvaney to tear off her wig and face the camera and say, "You believe what I just pulled off?" That would make me.
This is like the yo-yo guy in Wisconsin.
Yes. Yes.
By the way,
Oh,
it's,
wow.
it's still an imperfect science. I looked
Oh,
up
yeah.
Dylan's.
Was
TikTok
was
page.
she really in high heels?
Yes.
Okay,
On
that
a
part.
nature trail.
I know a lot of women hikers, and not one of them
Yeah.
would even consider.
That's what I mean.
Not even pumps.
Yeah.
They're putting on hiking shoes.
That's what I mean. And it's so choreographed. I'm sorry.
God,
I'm
I hope you're right.
I know.
though.
I know.
I
I'm the
want you to be right.
Well, it's just it's too.
And so to take your cynicism further, I think your cynicism might be entirely justified. They're just showing how addled this guy is, that he bought this
But
BS.
you know what I think they're also doing here is they're triggering the right. I think like
Yes.
it didn't sit right with you. I think there's a lot of Americans, friends and neighbors, that are going to fall for this and get upset. This is another litter box thing.
Wow.
And I have a whole different theory about the litter box thing after talking to my kid over the weekend. Kids are goofing on us.
Yeah.
Kids are having fun with the adults. That's what the litter box thing is
they're
because
doing-
there's no proof. Anyway, let's stay with this topic.
But they're doing what we would have done if we were seniors in 2022.
Exactly, and that's what I said to Ben. At some point, fun-loving kids turn into crotchety old adults. It's
Right.
either 20s, 30s, 40s, where you don't recognize that you're being pranked anymore. It's like, God, this rap music
Are
sucks.
you suggesting that Mulvaney is not trans?
Yes,
I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
I am saying.
Well, dude looks like a lady.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
lady
that's
looks like a
basically-
dude. Reavers,
I don't believe the
I
thing.
really want to believe you.
And again, I know I'm the cynic, but the point
I
is,
thought I was cynical.
I do not believe anything anymore.
I guess I don't either.
I don't believe anything put in front of me. I don't believe anything any politician
it's all,
says.
like I said, Chris, it's all psyops. They're all just blasting us with bullshit, with BS.
Everything is a game right now.
So you're telling me, check this out.
Yeah, look it down.
You mean to tell me that Mick Mulvaney, or whatever the hell its name is,
Dylan Mulvaney.
Dylan Mulvaney is clever enough to say to his friends, "Fill me in this getup I'm going to put on."
Dylan Mulvaney is the puppet with people above her or him pulling strings. That's what this is.
And for the purpose of showing how gullible Biden is, or
How gullible all of us are. Politicians, the American public.
I think we're dancing around it. Somewhere in here is the truth.
Yes.
I just don't think we've quite nailed it down yet.
Let's try to. Let's go with Reaver's theory that this is a bit.
Boy, I can't wait for John to join the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wish he was here right now. If you're listening, you better dial in, Height. Sometimes he listens.
So if this is a bit, who are the pranksters trying to persuade, and what are the pranksters trying to persuade them of?
That's the question of the day.
See, Chris, I don't think it's a bit because I follow Heather Hying, Brett Weinstein's wife, and she has gotten in deep doo-doo with this topic because she's a scientist, a real scientist, and she's tried to tell people that you're still a man, you're still a woman, you're dressing up as, even when you have the operation, and people that go ahead, Chris.
The likes of Dylan Mulvaney probably set out on some type of path for fame, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening in 2022, where the likes of a Dylan Mulvaney can one day be working at a Starbucks, for instance, become a TikTok star, and then all of a sudden be worth multiple millions of dollars. Now, am I saying that this person...
So there's motivation right there.
There's notoriety in this.
You could do it all with a cell phone.
And everything's at the palm of their hand. Or in this case, in my opinion, an orchestra behind the scenes masterminding all of this.
I don't think she's... See, that's the part where you lose me. I don't think she's being manipulated, but I think she's the one doing the manipulation, and I think she is being disingenuous, and she's finding her way to stardom.
8.3 million followers.
She wants to be the Greta
Thunberg.
of trans people.
I have another darker view of it.
Go.
Have we reached the point where life is so little thought of that it's now fun and games to alter the gender of a child, to experimentally, just for the hell of it?
See, now that
Spooky thought.
that is a serious issue, and I think that's the one worth talking about, because that to me is dangerous. Brains aren't done developing until your early 20s, if even not later.
You're going to give a 6, 7, 8-year-old girl hormone blockers? That's evil.
That's dangerous, and I agree.
That's a lack of respect for life.
That's an adult decision that one has to make for himself, him or herself.
So let's go back to the theory that it's a bit. Is Mulvaney trying to teach us that?
No, God, no.
That's too deep.
This is all...
Mulvaney's out for herself.
Mulvaney is out for themselves.
Did you hear what Rook said?
I'm sorry.
8.3 million followers.
Oh, I had more than that on Instagram. There's 200 and some million on
Wonder how much they jumped up over the weekend.
That's not plausible. There's 350 million people in the country. You're not telling me she's got 2/3 of the country. That's not plausible.
It's worldwide. It's a worldwide app. How can we find out how much it jumped up over the weekend after this meeting?
I don't think there's a graph, a timeline.
Mulvaney is 25. She started transitioning to female earlier this year. It's
that's fine.
It's day 222 of being a girl. I'm in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to the White House to speak to the president, Mulvaney said in a TikTok from a hotel room while wearing a shirt that says, "Don't mess with trans kids." You know that phrase. I think I may have girl bossed too close to the sun. I don't even know what this ass is talking about. Well, that's how I feel today, Mulvaney continued, because I get to sit down with Joe Biden and I get to ask him a few questions surrounding the trans issues in the United States and talk to him about my transness. And I really just want to represent the community the best I can. Go bleep yourself. GOP lawmakers pushing legislation that would regulate gender-affirming surgeries and treatments argue they are dangerous and could cause irreversible changes in younger patients. Most legislation focuses on minors, not adults.
I think
Biden
Joe, I know-
Biden then backtracked because he's an idiot.
Oh.
I think that it's really important that we continue to speak out about the basic fundamental rights of all human beings, Biden said later in his conversation with Mulvaney.
I apologize. It was 266 million impressions.
Yeah, I don't know what
Rookie
that-
was right. 808.3 million followers.
And the idea that what's going on in some states, I won't get into the politics of it, but in some states it's outrageous, and I think it's immoral, the president said. The trans part's not immoral. What they're trying to do to the trans person is immoral. Not younger than the age of reason, Joe. I don't think legislators have any right to legislate what surgeries can be performed on an adult.
Well, we brought this up last week. 18 to vote, 21 to drink, and what, age 5 for a sex change? No, I reject that.
The other thing to keep in mind in terms of Dylan Mulvaney is, let's just say, because I firmly believe that of what I said earlier, but let's just say Dylan Mulvaney went at this as some sort of ruse, all right? Let's just say Dylan Mulvaney was, in fact, going to become a woman, but then turned this into some type of parody for the aspect of social media. And then all of a sudden it garnered so much worldwide attention that she just went with it, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden the ball starts rolling. I'm getting invited to the White House, and it's, oh, bleep, now what do I do?
And the high heels on the nature trail are a nice touch.
Correct.
Yeah.
Once the freight train's rolling, you dug yourself a hole.
right. You went off the third rail.
The left is increasingly successful in painting the right as evil and immoral for merely pointing out the sanctity of life, or in this case, the sanctity of gender until you're an adult.
Yep. I'm sure we're going to get ripped for our comments about this subject.
The words morality and immoral are used absolutely generously with any talk about abortion. Mm-hmm. It's immoral to prevent that.
What a mixed up, backwards world.
It's backwards.
It's moral to kill.
But that's the world we live
I
in.
have the Bill Clinton view of abortion. Rare and safe.
I thought it was legal but rare.
Legal but rare. There. Legal but rare. And Angie Craig, who keeps lying.
Can you pull your microphone closer to your face? There,
Angie Craig, who keeps lying, says the Supreme Court has outlawed abortion. No, Angie, they did not outlaw abortion. It's merely been a question returned to the states from whence it should not have been extracted. The Supreme Court did not outlaw abortion.
And
she lies, or her people do.
And to remind you, you can get one in Minnesota, and Scott Jensen, if he's elected governor, can do nothing to change that other than sign the paper that will never arrive on his desk.
And who's the guy running? Tyler
Kistner.
Kistner, he can't do anything about it either. I want to know, too, she's also saying that Kistner's in the pockets of big oil who are gouging the consumer. Well, who put the gas in that Jeep for your phony drive around the countryside, Angie?
She was going to Maple Grove.
Apparently you didn't mind paying that. I mean, did you feel you were betrayed at the pump? God, she's such a disappointment. We're just surrounded by disappointment.
She gets in the Jeep when she gets sick of Washington.
Well, she's exhausted for fighting for you.
That's right.
But this trans thing, somebody's getting duped, and we don't know. Both sides.
Maybe it's me.
Both sides are getting duped. Well, you bit hard on the hook, but I think we've opened you up a little bit to an alternative view.
You know what yesterday was?
Sunday.
23rd?
Scooter Day.
National
I was out
Scooter
on my-
Day?
No, I was out on mine, and
Oh, with
I
that-
know my brother was out on his EcoFun Sports scooter. Right now, if you buy a scooter from EcoFun Motorsports, Forest Lake and Burnsville, you get $100 off because you're a GLer, and if you want, you can leave it with them, and they'll store it for the winter. Same with electric bikes, and they got that great winter deal now where one of the people from EcoFun comes and picks up your motorcycle, your scooter, or your bike and stores it for the winter. Great price, and they service it, keep the battery tended.
Oh, yeah.
They've got $500 off for GLers on all Crossfire 200 golf carts. Those things are cool. They got a 4-seat version and a dump box version. You know the kind I want. I want the dump box version. And as I say, take $100 off the price tag of any new scooter that turns those urban errands into adventures, or electric bikes, and get free winter storage for any purchase this month. Mention GL, as this is a GL exclusive. The Forest Lake store is on 97, immediately west of Interstate 35. And the Burnsville store that opened this summer is on the service road down around County Road 42 off 35 in Burnsville. Great service, great people, clothing, the apparel, the helmets, everything you need. Youth recreational equipment, great little youth ATVs for the kids. And yeah, yesterday was a one hell of a scooter day. I'm not going to say it's our final one.
No.
I'm not going to say it's our final one. EcoFunMotorsports.com.
Redmond's Flooring and Design in Anoka has been around for 50 years, and you know what? They partner with Mohawk. And Mohawk is the best in the business. Their all pet protection and warranty is the only carpet protection and warranty for all pets, all accidents, all the time. Your pets are your family members as well, so no matter how you live, we've got you covered. Soft, luxurious, Smart Strand Forever Clean Carpet. Now, Smart Strand is extraordinarily clean, durable, and environmentally friendly. And Mohawk as the ultimate floor for every room in your home, suitable for all pets. It's time now to love your floor with your entire family, thanks to the all pet protection and warranty from Mohawk. And that's available at Redmond's Flooring and Design. Their telephone number, I'll give you it shortly here. I want you to go to their website, though, if you'd like to. Redmonds.com, REDMANNS.com. Check out their website for carpet, hardwood, tile, vinyl, and for a design. You may not know what you want. Go see the reviews and tell them that you're a GLer. All estimates are free. Mike and the crew does a great job. If you want to go old school, dial 763-316-3332. That's 763-316-3332. Get your plan together with Redmond's Flooring and Design.
Got an email.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
So if you don't want to watch Vice Grip Garage on YouTube to learn a few things, go to seafoamworks.com. That's also an excellent source on the proper use of all Seafoam products. And what I love is they've got great advice on how to revive bad running small engines. A lot of people, Matthew, I'm talking to you, you really don't know how easy it is. And I'm sure your son has done it many times. Basically, that snowblower or that, that lawnmower Ricey gave you doesn't start. We do this. We do new plugs, new air cleaner, clean out the carb, the gas tank, use fresh gas, a gulp of Seafoam, and you fire it up and get it, in use. Seafoam motor treatment, though, it can also be used to stabilize fuel if you're going to put something away. We've heard a million stories from GLers. You put it in there in the fall or you put it in there in the summer, depending on what might be. And it does miracles for small engines and large engines, cars, tractors, trucks, diesel, gas. It doesn't matter. What do you got?
I used Seafoam today.
Yeah. On the key switch.
I put Deep Creep on the key.
Dumb.
It's sitting in the front seat of the car right now. I put Deep Creep.
You know what? Keep it there.
I'm gonna.
Once you go home and you fix it the way we explained you should fix it, just keep that Seafoam in there. Everybody should carry a can of the motor treatment and Deep Creep in their automobiles. Check out the website, seafoamworks.com. You can buy it everywhere. Our local company, big global reach, a true miracle in a world of bad gas. Seafoam.
You have the Oompa quiz music?
Shall we play a game?
We haven't done one for ages. And you've had tremendous success over the years
I've been pretty good.
in guessing what the question is.
Does hearing the Oompa Loompas take you back to a certain time? Does it?
No, I'm
does it
unaware of the Oompa
create a
Loompas.
memory of watching
No,
Charlie and the
Willy
Chocolate
Wonka.
Factory?
That is one of the more irritating movies in all time, all of history. I hate
There's
The
that.
only thing I had
fellow-
an issue with was the grandparents all sleeping in the same
That was
bed.
very
That was kind of
unsanitary.
weird. That was
Yeah.
kind of weird.
There's a fellow in the UK named Kevin Beresford,
Okay.
70 years old, from Redditch.
Yes. Of course, he's from Redditch.
Should
Yes.
have called this guy.
Yes.
And he calls himself Britain's dullest man,
Okay, he's very dull.
the dull guy.
Okay.
And he has created a 2023 calendar in keeping with his dullness. So you know the calendars. Sometimes
I'm familiar.
January's
Yeah.
nature, and,
Sure.
and in February is another picture of a national park, or it could be cars or boats or what.
Baseball stadiums
the
I
old,
have,
yeah,
yeah.
the old
Redheads.
pinup calendars. Well, he created a calendar,
Okay.
and he's Britain's dullest man. What did he create a calendar of?
Well, every month is going to be different, right?
Right, but every month would have a different example of his dullness. The theme of the
watching-
calendar is he's the dullest man in England.
Watching paint dry, watching
bills.
grass grow.
Yeah.
Of him.
They're pictures. They're each
Oh,
each
of him doing
month-
stuff?
Each month would feature a photograph.
Of him sitting on a bench doing absolutely nothing.
No, but you're not that far off.
Drinking milk and 2 cookies at 9:30 p.m.
Nobody's
every
that
day.
dull, Kenny.
Nobody?
It took him.
Nobody?
Maybe this will help. He did this.
He's
He compiled his 12 favorites after a 603-mile journey, his total journey, to capture what the photographs for his calendar. It took him 603 miles.
Okay, so it's not games of solitaire.
No.
Rocks.
He says he focuses on the mundane.
Weeds growing.
People
in-
sitting.
Grass growing in the crack of a highway.
Signs.
He reviewed
Clouds.
these locations before he took a picture of them to include in his 12-month 2023
I'm picturing
calendar.
flat land, farmland, nothing even remotely interesting in the least.
He believes the best one of his pictures is in Birmingham.
Birmingham. Yes, of course it's in Birmingham.
Birmingham.
No, castles would be exciting.
Yes,
Rain?
they would be compared to this more.
Rain. I don't know. Just tell
He
us.
believes one of them is haunted.
Graves?
Pictures of sheds.
Nope.
I've got a book. I've got a book like that from Britain. Sheds. Seriously,
Blokes and sheds.
that book actually exists.
It's not Graves.
No,
Nope.
no, because graves would be something that would be exciting.
history.
To
He's
look
got one as old as it was built in 1929.
Built.
I'm giving you clues.
at. Brushes and brooms.
What is Art Deco?
Knives. Okay.
Oh.
Blank paintings?
Buildings. Hotels. Franklin Wright.
Phone things.
Phone booth?
Telephone booth.
Nope.
Damn.
But you're on the right track.
Okay, but that would be something I would.
Oh, wait.
Tram stops.
Bus stops.
No, but you're getting closer.
Gas stations.
No.
Nope.
It's not bus stops.
Waste baskets.
A couple of them are multi-level.
Buses.
The London double bus.
Nope.
That
Bridges.
Bridges.
Britain, no. Britain's dullest man.
Knives. What are dull?
What are double level? Double decker. Double decker. I know what that is.
That's upper decker.
of
Apartment buildings.
Stairways.
He notes with some pride, no one else is selling this calendar.
Flats.
He likens himself to an art icon. He said,
Sidewalks.
artists such as Andy Warhol and
I
Van
knew
Gogh.
you were going to say Warhol.
Sidewalks. Street
Oompa
corners.
quiz. You're failing.
wow.
The dullest man in
He is so
England.
dull.
And the dullest man, and he's so dull, he created a calendar that will probably sell, a 2023 calendar. You ready to give up?
Yes.
Parking lots.
What? Parking lots?
The guy he went and found 12 parking lots that he put in a calendar.
I don't think I ever would have got that.
Wow.
I thought
you beat
multi-level
me on
would.
that one.
I thought multi-level would help.
Oh my
No,
God!
because after
How
his
is
bus
he
stops,
70s?
all I was thinking was
Yeah, we were
buses.
thinking structures.
And he gives he gives information about each one, like how much it costs.
This one seats.
Wow.
This one will
This
house
one's
41
haunted.
cars.
Yeah.
This one's haunted.
You know, that's how you make money when you sleep.
You're damn right.
Parking lots.
You're down or you're darn tootin'.
Well, that was a really exciting segment.
I don't
Joe.
know. It amused me.
I
It
like
amused me.
I like quizzes though. I do like quizzes, and I did fail on that. I'm a little rusty.
I mean, what
Rusty.
kind of life does the guy have?
Not much.
Well, he's the dullest
ideal.
man he's the dullest man in England.
Obviously retired.
Yeah, he took up pictures of parking lots.
He seems happy to me.
Wow.
It's being noted in a
Wait.
variety of.
Sorry, really quick. Jordy just sent the headline on
Yeah.
the subject we were talking about.
Yeah.
The Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh yeah, is he a town council member?
I'm going to guess so. Otherwise, his timing is impeccable.
Right.
This is from the Babylon Bee. Man pretending to be woman visits man pretending to be president.
That's not bad. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
Thank you, Jordy.
It's reported on a number of news sites that Minneapolis is really having a problem recruiting policemen or police
You
women.
don't say.
And there's a picture of one of the ostensible recruits, and he looks like a zombie. He's got tackle all over his face,
A pirate.
and strings of hair that are very odd, and hardware through his lips and everything. I don't want him as a cop.
What did we say
No.
years and years and years ago?
I don't know.
Keep demonizing cops, and this is the crap you're going to get.
You're going to get this guy
Yep.
who looks like a complete nutcase.
Because the people that are qualified to do it just simply don't want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm. And they're having trouble. And in the meantime, there's not 52 shootings in Minneapolis this weekend, but we've got a toddler who was shot.
Yep.
And hopefully will survive. And then this guy shows up. Well, look, that picture isn't very good, but you get the idea. He's just
Yeah.
saw the
he's,
photo.
Yeah.
he's not capable of being a policeman.
He doesn't look inviting. You know, police officers,
Comforting.
they can be
Yeah.
intimidating a little bit, but you would run to them to say, "Hey, we need help."
No, I would. Here's how I would say it about that guy. I wouldn't blame anyone for saying they didn't respect him.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Don't you want to respect a cop
Yes.
and say yes sir, no ma'am? I wouldn't take
Every
this
time.
fruitcake seriously.
No.
That was a theme last night for the debate.
Tell me about the debates, because in all honesty, I was reading and completely forgot about them.
I hung with it for about 45 minutes.
Was this the Attorney General debate?
Attorney General, the Secretary of State, and then the governor's debate, in which
The
only
ghost.
one candidate showed up.
Yeah, Walz chose to remain in hiding.
And I'll give Hauser credit. He's the best there is in town. I know I'm biased because we work with him, but he's really good. And I don't know how he was able to. Ellison really showed his true colors, I got to be honest. He interrupted Schultz, I counted at least half a dozen times. And Jim was respectful and just said, "This is my time." You know, they each got 90 seconds. And it was the same thing. Ellison continues to go with this, I never supported defund the police.
Yes, he did.
Who are you kidding, Keith?
That's a lie if he said
It's a
that.
complete lie.
Yeah.
There's so much evidence that says you did, and now he realizes that this is gonna be the reason if he's ousted, is because he supported that. So
Yeah,
he's completely
as-
backtracking.
As does his kid. Still does.
Still
They
does.
all should be ousted for their position. Walls should be for just the Floyd killing alone.
Well, it's funny you say that because here's 90 seconds of Dr. Scott Jensen talking about that very thing and the fact that Governor Walz didn't bother to show up.
Well, thank you. This is a big deal. If I didn't show up at the office, would my patients think that I'd abandoned them? I mean, Tim Walz didn't show up tonight. He has a very clear strategy. They're basically saying if we hunker down and don't say anything and don't let the media have at us, we won't say anything stupid, and we can have this media machine and our money run us over the goal line. Gee, I hope that Minnesotans are alert to that. We have endured some incredibly trying times as a state. We felt heartbreaks from seeing lives turned upside down. But we have to ask the question, who's going to step forward? Who's going to help Minnesota find a path back? How can we restore our rights? How can we once again be that state that leads in education? How can we get public safety back on the streets? How can we really support the work that cops do? How can we elevate teachers? How can we make sure that our kids are getting the education that we need them to get? How can we stop this inflationary cycle? How can we stop the Tim Walz plan to make Minnesota more and more energy dependent? There's so many things we can do. I'm asking this time around, Minnesotans, this is a huge decision we have to make. We can do so much better. This is an election about hearts and minds. This is an election about everyday heroes. We need every one of you to step forward. Because if you step forward and support Scott Jensen and Matt Burke, we have a chance to heal Minnesota. We have a chance to have safer streets. We can control inflation, and we can absolutely elevate our children's achievements. Thank you.
Dr. Jensen, thank you.
I can't
This-
believe Walz
this'll-
didn't interrupt him.
This election is about public safety.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that's the main item. Can you imagine 4 more years of this administration?
No, we'll all be bankrupt.
Well, not only that, we'll all be in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the ideology that's in play. The ideology that compels Mysterians to view the criminals as victims.
In which all of these candidates are now running from because they're realizing it will be their doom.
I don't care if you're a rich liberal who lives on Lake of the Isles, you're in danger. And I don't know what delusions you keep feeding yourself that Walz is the way to go.
And this BS about we need to fully fund education. Tim, education is fully funded.
No, or more accurately, if you said, what is the exact number at which you would know education is fully funded, there is no answer.
No, and
we've
it's-
been saying that for 25 years.
And that's
There's
just it.
never enough.
No, and it's...
Because he's run by the teachers union.
Right.
There's never enough money for education. Never enough. And there never will be. And if you asked him flat out, which is hard to do because he doesn't show up.
So let's play the game. 2 weeks from tomorrow, let's say Walz and Ellison are both reelected. Steve Simon's going to get reelected because Kim Crockett's insane.
Yeah.
Let's say Walz and Ellison are both reelected. I'm flat out saying, Minneapolis, you get what you deserve. I'm sorry. I no longer feel sorry for you if you reelect both of these people, especially Ellison.
Minneapolis and Minnesota.
And St. Paul. Public safety is the number one issue. And we have evidence that the people in place now have failed miserably in public safety questions.
So,
Chris, how much time did Jensen get then?
I didn't see much of it, but
They should have got all of Walz's time.
each question was. Some people were accusing, as Joe has always said, the reason Tom's great is because you have no idea which way his political leanings are. So a lot of people were accusing Tom of answering for Governor Walz when he was questioning Dr. Jensen, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long he spoke. I do know that when I was watching the Attorney General debate, that each candidate got 90 seconds on the same question, and then they each got a chance to for rebuttal with the response of the other candidate.
If Dr. Jensen loses, it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's the Republican Party and the head of the Republican Party's fault. Seriously. It's not Jensen's fault.
Well,
His earlier comments, though,
His
did not help.
inexperience.
Well, that goes back to the Republican Party. They shouldn't have nominated him then.
Mm-hmm.
Kendall Qualls would be so far ahead right now.
But Jensen's remarks at the beginning of that soundbite I played are 100% accurate. He's just hiding. Walls is just hiding. Because he knows that's the best tactic
It's
right now.
pathetic. Fishing opener, can't fish there. Deer hunting, can't deer hunt there.
I thought I had a couple of emails about that. It's illegal to hunt in a state park.
Right.
So he just sat there and didn't really...
Well, it's 2 weeks from now.
Oh.
Well, I'm sure the governor could get some sort of clearance, but I mean,
Harumph.
Unless they're having a special hunt. Sometimes they do that. They have special hunts just to...
but I thought even then, I thought it was only bow and
Right. That's what I had always assumed, right, Joe? Yeah.
You don't want bullets flying when you're walking through the.
No.
Well, that makes things interesting.
Oh, that's what Minneapolis is for.
Yeah.
You go downtown for that.
Right.
You don't need that at the nature center.
No.
Why don't we take a little time out?
First, let me tell you about our new friends at Rise and Shine Garage Doors. They do residential, commercial repairs and installations of all things related to the garage door and the opener. Got a couple of emails about questions about their opener. I said, don't ask me. Talk to my guys at Rise and Shine Garage Doors. Josh and Alex, they're the owners, and they are locally and family owned. If you look them up, perfect 5-star rating on Google and Yelp, and that's because customer service is the number one most important thing to Rise and Shine Garage Doors. They always give you options, too. They do not do high-pressure sales. They let the customer choose from the different solutions that are best for them. And 5% discounts for senior and military members, and if you have a AAA membership. They have certified employees. They don't hire dum-dums off the street like me. No, they get certified technicians to come to your home. And even if you don't live in the Twin Cities area, they'll be able to service you. They're expanding to Rochester, St. Cloud, Mankato, Northfield, Isanti, and Cambridge. They're going to take care of you. Also parts of western Wisconsin, too. And don't forget to ask about the Rooster Club membership program with Rise and Shine Garage Doors. That includes the tune-up on an annual basis, and they waive the trip charges. CallRiseandShine.com is their website. CallRiseandShine.com is their website. Get in touch with Josh and Alex, and please let them know that you heard about them here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Souchere.
So Chris, the owner of Aim High Construction, MN.com, dropped a note to me over the weekend. Hey, Kenny, business has been terrific, maybe too terrific. You're spot on with letting everybody know that we're busy and winter work is filling up fast as well. We have shut down roofing for the year unless it's an emergency. We'll start roofing up again in the spring when warm weather returns. Right now, it looks like we're pretty busy till June. That's a great problem to have. It's just hard to say to a customer that you'll have to wait. If we are able to move things around, we will. Otherwise, we hope we are worth the wait. Here's the deal, GLers. AimHighConstructionMN.com. They're worth waiting for. If you want a perfect build, you call Aim High. If you want honesty, integrity, call Aim High. A wonderful customer service, again, Aim High. Now, if you don't care about any of the above, go ahead and call that laid-off friend of a friend who's always available to muck up the most easy of jobs. Go ahead, call him. But Aim High Construction and the owner, Chris, their quality, their perfection, integrity, get on the website, get on the list, aimhighconstructionmn.com.
This is from CNBC. The Senate voted to ratify a global climate treaty that will phase down the use and production of hydrofluorocarbons, or HFCs, chemicals widely used in air conditioning and refrigeration. The 2016 Kigali Amendment to the 1987 Montreal Protocol Treaty dramatically curbs the use of HFCs, which are thousands of times more potent than carbon dioxide at heating up the earth. The Environmental Protection Agency has said that regulatory action on such chemicals could help to avoid up to 0.5 degrees of Celsius of global warming by the end of the century. Okay, great. I have two questions.
Okay.
I don't know what this means to the people who produce the chemicals in terms of employment, but is 0.5 degrees worth it over the next 80 years? Is that worth it? And two, if these HFCs are thousands of times more potent than carbon dioxide at heating up the earth, then why only 0.5 degree increase or protection? In other words, what's the point of this?
Political grandstanding, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
be?
make people feel better.
What's the point of this?
To make people feel better. It's not going to do anything. You're right. It's grandstanding. It's hoodwinking. It's psyops.
Only because
Wait. No, don't leave.
Everything's
So they're going to take
psyops.
they're going to take our air AC away. Is that
well,
what
I don't know what will replace HFCs. You can, Biden's still going to have air conditioning.
Of course he is.
I don't,
The
you
third
might not.
rail.
You might not.
Yeah, no, of course. The third rail will be comfortable.
Speaking of Mr. Biden,
That's what Jordy said. The elites will still have air conditioning.
the president did issue the following tweet.
I'm ready for it. Is it about Dylan Mulvaney?
No. The deficit fell by $1.4 trillion this year, the largest one-year drop in American history.
BFD. What's the debt? 32 trillion?
Something like that.
Yeah. You know what? So what?
Nothing.
Big apricot canning deal.
Right. Well, who has the apricots? Well, the wife.
There is a clip, and I wish I could find it right now, and it's Biden throughout the years.
Yeah.
So from 2022 back to, I think it goes back as far as the late 90s, basically saying, hey, this isn't your father's Republican Party. Mm-hmm. You're talking about the extremists on that side of the. So he's been at this game forever. It's hilarious.
Have you the one that I found hilarious is the one where they've got Biden throughout the years in photos. We might have a different Joe Biden from the Joe Biden we had 20, 30 years ago.
Really?
It looks like a completely different person.
I've often thought there's two Eric Claptons.
Okay.
You know what I noticed over the weekend? Mark Knopfler looks nothing like Mark Knopfler
I haven't
of the
seen a
early
picture
days.
of him lately.
Huh.
He looks like Racy. With less hair.
Only because they come to us all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga, South Africa, from the Traveling Lymans at worldwidewaftage.com. I was on this day in 1871.
October 24th.
Well, and back then, on October 24th, the railroad reached Breckenridge in the Red River Valley.
Huh. You ever been up there?
Sure.
For the winter deal? Doesn't Breckenridge have the big winter?
A winter deal.
Don't they have the big winter?
I have no. If that's the case, no. My answer is no. I've never been there.
All right.
On this day in
Sorry, I asked.
1988, Duluth Mayor John Fido went on trial charged with accepting bribe and misusing city money. He was acquitted.
Today he'd get reelected.
Yeah. Today, he was acquitted. So there you have it. Well, thank you, G.
I want to make sure it's the Breckenridge that I'm thinking of.
Just to be clear, I think I've probably changed quite a bit in appearances too.
Yeah, we
so,
all probably have.
Yeah.
maybe I should just go ahead and retract all of that
In
nonsense.
fact, Kenny, when we were moving a couple months ago, there was a photo that came out of Jess and I in college, and the boys looked at that and said, Mom, who's sitting with you?
Who are those people?
And I went,
Yeah.
no, they recognize Mom.
Yeah,
They just didn't recognize Dad.
the mirror is not kind to Kenny.
GLers, as we mentioned, please go ahead and join the Garage Logic Town Council, because for $10 a month, $100 for the year, boy, are you going to get entertained with off-air
Kenny, don't go
antics
away.
and 24/7 Garage Logic replays. Available only to members of the Garage Logic Town Council. And subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel, because there we are posting daily content for your amusement. You can also follow us along on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll catch you tomorrow.